News Radio 840 WHAS. Coming up on today's Louisville Real Estate Show, if you live in a condo and preparing to sell, when do you need to disclose potential problems in your building? Are you among the thousands receiving fraudulent emails trying to move your money out of your account into someone else's pocket? What should you do? And we've got Zillow's list of home improvement projects to stay away from because they just don't make you money when you sell. Hi, everybody. Bob Sokoler, owner of the Sokoler team, Remax Properties East. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday morning. And with us for the next half hour, Randy Rocky. He's one of the head guys over at Swan Financial. They do a great job of shopping your loan to get you the very best price, the mortgage rate, and that's what you want when it comes to buying a home. You can reach Randy and his folks at 645-0736. Also here, Chuck Crosby. He owns the Crosby Law Offices. You know, you can pick the real estate attorney you want to close your loan, whether it's new construction or resale. Chuck does a great job with closings, but also with wills, powers of attorney, foreclosure defense, commissioner sales, and more. You can reach Chuck at 499-6360. And if you're thinking of selling your home now or in the future, or even buying a home, I'd love to help you. I have a team, but when it comes to selling a home, it's me. I'm the guy who comes out, and I will talk to you free, no obligation. I work both in Louisville and the surrounding areas, in southern Indiana as well. You can reach me anytime at 376-5483. That's 376-LIVE. Or you can go to bobsellslouisville.com and fill out the form. And if you'd like a free analysis of what your home is worth, we've got it set up for you to go to WeSellLouisville.com and click on the top of the page, and that will get you to our system. It's a free computer analysis. All right, so let's get going here with our questions. And a reminder, you can see a rebroadcast of today's show by going to LouisvilleAnswers.com. That's LouisvilleAnswers.com. And if you want to see some of the past questions that we've had, we're compiling those as well. Go to LouisvilleQuestions.com, LouisvilleQuestions.com. Those are redirects to YouTube. All right, so Chuck Crosby, Crosby Law Office. Cindy sent us an email. She says, my neighbor's backyard looks like it's auditioning for a wildlife documentary, Total Weed Invasion. So she's wondering, Cindy says, should I speak up or should I stock up on weed killer? How should I bring this up without turning it into a neighborhood drama? And she also parenthetically responds or asks, is this a case of bringing over a pie?
Absolutely. This is exactly what that's generally set up for.
Wow.
Just be nice and say, hey, look, we're trying to sell our house. I notice there's some, maybe you're having some difficulty keeping the weeds down. Can I go take care of that for you? I've seen that work. I've seen other things work. If they say absolutely not, and you're in the city, then you might call up the city and say, hey, there's rats running around in the deep woods back there, and see if maybe that might get a little movement.
Okay, that's easy enough.
Yeah, carrots, sticks. I prefer carrots up front.
Okay. Yeah, and the last resort is suck up on weed killer and be prepared.
Well, yeah, I don't know about spraying poisonous chemicals onto somebody else's lawn.
No, I think she's referring to her own lawn.
Oh, her lawn, not the neighbor's lawn.
As the weeds make their way, the seeds that are broadcast by the weeds make their way onto her lawn to just...
I gotcha.
I think she was working on, and at least I hope that's what she was saying, because you definitely don't want to be...
Yeah, because I immediately thought, I could see now the hose spraying, poison on somebody else's lawn.
Yeah, I would never do that.
Next thing you know, a dog gets into it, problems will arise, and you'll not be on the good end with that one.
Not good at all.
But, yeah.
Okay, good. We've settled that. Hopefully that helps her. We move on, and a reminder that if you would like to see what sellers are saying about us, we have a website set up. There's where I do these interviews at closings. Go to LouisvilleSellersTalk.com, LouisvilleSellersTalk.com. These are closing table discussions that you can view for yourself. Randy Rocky, Swan Financial. This one email is from Jamie. She says she plans to buy her first home this year. She's wondering, how much paperwork will she need to review, and how much documentation is needed, and how long will it take to be approved or be turned down by a loan officer?
Well, if she has a good credit score and I mean, I do them as little as 15 to 20 minutes if I can get certain documentation, which is paycheck stubs and assets with that, and how long they've been in employment there. And yes, it is a little cumbersome on the paperwork, but it's standard operating procedure, and for her time commitment on doing the mortgage side, just the mortgage side, all in, counting, having to sign documents, closing, and everything, you're probably 3 to 5 hours.
Okay, that's not terribly bad, but let's start. Let me just break it down by segment.
Yeah.
Uh, how much paperwork? A lot of paperwork that you'll need to go through. I don't remember there being that much, and you have it
No,
online, so
right. It's online. You automatically send it to us. If you're self-employed, it's more. But if you're a W-2 employee, you like work at Humana or what have you, then it's not that bad. I mean, really, the front end paperwork is probably, if you are pretty tech savvy, you can get it to us within 45 minutes.
okay. And then the amount of time, I guess, is the key for her is how much time for being approved or being turned down. How long does it take a loan officer to?
It really can vary from 15 minutes to a couple days.
And what is that depending on?
It depends on credit score, if they're self-employed. Do they work, have a lot of overtime? Because then we have to verify that. Things of that nature. But if it's a pretty cut and dry loan, that okay, I work at whatever UPS, I make 50,000 a year. I don't do any overtime, and then it's pretty easy to do. Usually, I can knock those out in 15 or 20 minutes.
Okay, very good. And we'll give out your number in just a little bit as well. All right. So this next question actually will go to both you guys, Chuck and Randy. I personally am talking to a condo owner association meeting at the Gaslight Square this coming Wednesday about the importance of getting ahead of repairs needed in your condo building. Chuck, you and I, and Randy, you and I, all of us have talked about the problems with condos and deferred maintenance. Correct? We've seen that,
Yes.
and we'll talk about one thing in particular in just a moment. I'm wondering though, and Chuck, this starts with you. When do you disclose problems that are found within a building? So let's just say you're proactive, your condo association is, they do an inspection, they find there's a problem. Now, when they find that problem and discuss it at a board meeting, is that the point when if you're going to sell your condo, you need to disclose that knowledge, that information?
The quick answer is the time that you should mention what you know is when you know it. So yeah, if you know that there's an issue, now you got to keep in mind, has it been decided that it's an issue, or are they questioning whether it's an issue? I'm not a roofer. I don't know what constitutes a roof problem until I'm told this is a problem. So if there was to be a board meeting that says, hey, we're going to take a look at the roofs, well, that doesn't mean there's a problem in my mind. That just means we're going to go take a look at them. When the report comes back and says, oh, hey, this particular issue is on this particular roof, well, now I know there's a problem. Something has been designed. If you're going to disclose something, you need to disclose what you know needs to be disclosed. You don't hide anything back. If it's an issue in a board meeting, that's on paper. There are minutes. It's going to get found. So if they've come back and said, hey, we've got holes in the roof, they're going to need to get fixed, and we're going to have to put an assessment out there, I guarantee you, if you shovel that under the rug, I'm going to find it before closing. But let's say it even gets past that. It's going to have a paper trail a mile wide to go back and say, oh, you knew on thus and such date that this was an issue. You didn't disclose it. Misrepresentation.
Yeah. So last week we actually discussed a different condo association, different building, that they were a year or more in advance of needing a new roof, and they were letting the folks who lived at this building know that there's going to be an assessment, but they're not. I don't think they voted on it. They just simply discussed it. But you're saying the moment they discuss it is
No.
Okay.
I'm saying the moment when you're given the information that something needs to be done. Now, assessment thing needs to be done, two different things. Okay. They can not have determined whether there's going to be an assessment. But if they've determined that here's something that needs to be fixed, you disclose it. I personally would say this is going to need to be fixed. And the question has been raised, is it going to be a new assessment or not? Because with an assessment, that's a guarantee phone call to an attorney. I get that call all the time. Just bought this property, just bought this condo. All of a sudden, I'm getting a letter saying, hey, there's going to be this $1,000 assessment to fix this problem. This problem was not on the disclosure. Well, now you go to look at that paper trail. When did they know about it? If that's the case, might have an issue.
So this is a really important point for all condo owners and Chuck, I know you're a condo owner, so you're in the middle of all this as well. And Randy, let me bring you into this. And you remember a couple of years back, I won't name the condo building group, but their balconies were in need of replacement and repair. And at that point, it became problematic getting a loan. Randy, bring this up here. When does the mortgage company get involved and say, okay, we're not loaning on this because we know there are problems with the balconies or decks?
Oh, they have a paper trail, so to speak, as well, and say, hey, this cannot be approved, conventional or FHA. But you're seeing this a lot in Florida. I mean, it's a crapshoot when it comes to condos. Now, I have some people, and actually some of your real estate agents have closed people that, and like we just had one in Prospect, beautiful condo for $120,000. I think the HOA fee was $150, and we did a thorough investigation as much as we could, making sure that everything was okay. That they had enough money in reserves and all the above. But it gets very complex. There's a lot of hands in the cookie jar, and there's a lot going on to try to even get someone to the closing table. You have to do condo questionnaires. You can't have over so many of them rented. I mean, it's a pretty complex situation. I wish Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac would just come to a conclusion. Okay, this is the way we're going to handle condominiums. It would be much easier on the client, the consumer, and also on us as lenders.
I think the takeaway from this for any condo owner is the moment that there's a discussion, you need to decide to what level is the discussion. Is there a need, if you're going to sell, that it needs to be disclosed in the disclosure form that you'll fill out when you list your property? I think that we all agree.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Always tell what you know when you know it.
Because you'll always get a good night's sleep, and you won't be thinking coming back to.
And I realize the morality of it, and people playing hardball and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, the fact is, if somebody comes to me, I'm going to be able to track all that down. It's not something you're going to be able to hide.
Yeah, that's important. Remember that. All right. A reminder, you can see what our reviews are. We're really, really proud of our reviews. You can go to LouisvilleZillow.com or LouisvilleGoogle.com to see the reviews for our Sokoler team. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the home improvements to stay away from. If you're thinking of making some upgrades to your home, we'll tell you what Zillow says are the things you don't want to do. Staying with us, Randy Rocky over at Swan Financial. They do a great job of shopping the loan to get you the best rates. You can reach Randy at 645-0736. Also, Chuck Crosby will stay with us. He's the head guy at the Crosby Law Offices. They do real estate closings as well as wills and a lot more. You can reach Chuck 499-6360. And if you're thinking of selling your home, I'd love to help you. We can talk free, no obligation. I come out, we discuss as long as you want and come up with a plan to help you. You can reach me on my cell phone, 376-5483. That translates into 376 live. Or you can go bobsellslouisville.com, fill out the form. And also for that free home estimate, go to WeSellLouisville.com and click on the top of the page. We're back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. News Radio 840 WHAS. Thank you, Barbara Corcoran. She's a mentor, a friend, and she's been with us more than 10 years, and we appreciate her guidance from Shark Tank. I've actually met a number of the sharks on Shark Tank. All of them are quite impressive. They know their stuff, what they're talking. And if you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. Continuing with us, Chuck Crosby. He's a head guy at the Crosby Law Offices, and they do a great job on real estate closings, wills, and more. You can reach Chuck. You can pick the closing attorney that you want, and Chuck's the guy, I would tell you, among those in the town that we live in. Chuck is one of the guys, and ladies, 499-6360. Also, Randy Rocky stays with us. He's with Swan Financial. They shop the loan to get you the very best rate, making sure you get the lowest mortgage payment. You can reach Randy and his group at 645-0736. And if you're thinking of selling, I'd love to help you. No home too big, no home too small. You can reach me on my cell phone, 376-5483. That translates into 376 live. Go to bobsellslouisville.com as well. Fill out the form, or if you like that free home estimate of what your home is worth, go to WeSellLouisville.com and click on the top of the page. So maybe you're thinking of doing some upgrades and not moving, and that may be possible, but which upgrades do you make? Well, Zillow's come up with a list of things, projects that don't add value. I think both Randy and Chuck and myself are interested because you just never know what you should be improving. So turning your kitchen into a white wonderland, according to Zillow research into paint color preferences of home buyers, a white kitchen can hurt a home seller's price by more than $600. That doesn't seem like a whole lot, depending upon the price of your home. But instead, today's buyer tends to prefer dark gray tones, such as charcoal or graphite. Now, personally, from my perspective, I'm not so sure. I would tell you that would be the way to go, but this is what Zillow says. Adding a walk-in closet, Zillow's 2024 research into home listings show that walk-in closets can hurt a home's value by 0.5%. That's 0.5%. A relatively small amount, but it's an indication that it might not be worth the cost to add space where you see all your clothes. That is interesting. Also, adding a deck, a wood deck costs about $17,600. But in this home improvement study, it shows it does not add that much value. It only adds $14,600 at the time of the sale. So you're at negative on that. Turning your garage into a bedroom, and while bedrooms are certainly important, you might want to stay away from turning the garage into one. Listings that mention garages are associated with a slight sales premium. If you've got a garage, a 0.3% increase, according to Zillow's 2024 analysis. So mentioning the garage is important. Also, installing an in-ground swimming pool, and I've always said that people will beat a path to your door if you have a pool. Well, this one's a mixed bag. Whether a pool becomes an asset or a liability depends on a number of things, including the pool size, age, condition, location on the property, and the housing market. The main drawback is the cost, and the fact that other projects would be greater return for the money is something to consider. Also, DIY done badly, that's going to hurt if you do it yourself and you don't do a good job. Remodeling a bathroom, and a lot of folks are thinking about that, are some of the most expensive improvements. We see commercials on TV all the time. But even a simple bathroom remodel can set you back tens of thousands of dollars, and it won't necessarily pay for itself when you go to sell. Okay, there goes the sponsors who would be bathroom remodel sponsors. Also, wall-to-wall carpeting, not such a great idea. Laminate countertops, not so good in today's market. High-end fixtures, you're not going to get your money back for the expensive chrome faucet. Storm shutters, not coming back at you with a return. And the home maintenance has a big impact on home value, so keep your home looking good. You don't necessarily have to do upgrades to cash in when you sell your home. All right, we go back to our phone calls. This one is phone calls. These are emails that are sent because we can't do phone calls in our COVID environment ever since 2020. Randy Rocky, Scott sent us this email. He received an email from his bank saying there is fraud on his account and he needs to move the money to fix the problem. And Chuck, you may want to jump in on this as well. Scott suspects this is a fraudulent email, but he's wondering what steps should he and others who are listening to us take who receive these types of emails from lending institutions and more. If you got some suggestions, go ahead, because I've got also some suggestions.
Go ahead, Chuck.
I was going to say, I get these emails constantly. I mean, every day, 2-3 times a day, I'll call in Sherry and say, hey, look at this one. But what they do is they'll claim to be a title order or something like that from a particular lender. Ooh, PNC, and they'll have a really long email address. So I always click on the sender and then click on the email address. And then you look to see if it's from PNC Bank, it's not PNC.com. It's, SYB dot this, that, the other thing, UK or whatever. It's not an email address that would be associated with that. Plus, you never, ever, ever click on a link on an email that you are not certain is real. But if you're, sometimes we'll get things that look a little maybe. So then you go to a third-party source, find out what entity it is, and then call that entity using a third-party sourced number. And then, you'll get they'll pick up and say, are you calling from the email? Yeah, it's scam.
Right.
we got hacked, that kind of thing.
Randy, you
Uh,
got anything to add to that?
I just avoid them at all. I get so many being in the mortgage business
Yeah.
that I just don't respond at all. I
oh
don't
yeah,
even look
never
at them.
respond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, which is your point, and I
Yeah,
just don't even really even look at them. If it's something where they're saying something on my account, obviously I'll just go check it at the actual
yeah,
my
but
my my
always
bank
use a
account.
third party source.
Yes,
Yeah, don't
yes,
click on the link. It's
no,
never.
no, no.
But yeah, there's one realtor in town. You all would know him. He got something like that, called up to his bank, and was the bank's happy to set you straight on things if there's an issue or if there's not an issue. But no bank is going to be sending you emails like that. It's gonna come in a different format.
Yep.
Yes.
They're not going to ask you to be clicking links and things like that.
So all good suggestions. I would add to that because you hit a bunch of the key ones, but also contact your bank again, as Chuck
Mhm.
recommends, using
From a
third-party
third
information.
party source.
Right.
Yeah.
And they typically are going to have a fraud department, and
Oh,
they'll want
absolutely.
you to send that email, just forward it to the email address of the fraud department at that bank because they'll handle that on their own. And then you can also report it to the FTC, and that's reportfraud.ftc.gov. Again, that's HT. You can go to reportfraud, all one word, .ftc.gov. And then if, and this is a concern in your email, like Gmail or Outlook, mark the message as phishing, right click to call it a junk mail, whatever, to help
Mhm.
prevent future scams. So those are,
Yeah, the FBI also has a really great website related to fraud and who to contact and all that kind of stuff. But it will also go through the different scams. All of us have gotten that whole, the phone call or the text, road tolls and whatnot. They're not going to look those guys up. But
yeah.
if you're ever caught with that one that says, "Oh, hey, there's an arrest warrant out for you. We're trying to, keep that from happening," blah blah blah, and you think it sounds like a scam, maybe it is. The FBI's website will show you step by step what these guys are doing, and just become familiar with it. The sheriff's website also has a big disclaimer. Whenever you go to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, big disclaimer on the front. If you got a phone call saying, then they just say ignore it.
Yeah, like they're saying you're under arrest or you got a
Yeah,
warrant
yeah,
out
yeah,
for your
yeah, yeah.
arrest. That actually happened to me a while ago and
Yeah, you get
fraud. Yeah,
those,
right.
and they're very convincing. My
Oh,
thought
yeah.
is,
Yeah.
Oh,
I
they're
had
amazing.
someone from
Yes.
the bank give me a call, and I'm very attuned. We have our bank accounts reconciled every single day. Okay, so
Mm.
I'm very attuned as to what's happening. And we got a phone call, presumably from the bank, and the kid that was telling me, "Oh, hey, there's a problem," blah 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 blah. I think she really believed it. I am not entirely uncertain or certain that there's not some third party out here who's hiring people to help us with these problems.
Yeah.
So I think the kid actually thought
Yeah.
that she was trying to help me, but the person who hired her was the scamster.
Wow.
Wow.
It's going deep. All right, I
Yeah.
think we have time. I think for at least one more question. This one's going to go back over to Randy. Rocky Chandler is thinking of buying his first home, and he has already met with a loan officer and
Mhm.
to get an FHA loan because there are lower down payments according to this loan officer
Mhm.
and flexible credit guidelines. But he's not so sure. I guess he doesn't necessarily trust the loan officer. He's looking for an independent source. What are the negatives of going with an FHA loan? Randy, I think that's right up your alley.
Right. The negatives are that you have private mortgage insurance for the life of the loan. And if you go conventional, depends on the day. And I know it just rates are crazy right now. So depending on the day, it might make more sense, depending on credit score, to go with a 3% conventional loan. And if you make under, we have grants up to $7,500. I'm sorry, $7,000. So there's some options on the grant system too. So for a first time home buyer. So it really, that is something you just have to get another opinion on. Go to another loan officer and get another opinion on it. And I really recommend going with a broker, not a bank or a captive lender. Go with a broker and get an opinion, which there are some in in our town, obviously in Louisville.
And
There's
not to
another broker
plug,
besides me.
yeah, but there, I would suggest, and I'm going to give you the number for Randy in just a moment. But yes, Randy will. One of the things, shopping the loan, obviously, is important. And then
Yep.
another opinion. I would always suggest get 3 opinions to be able to see. Not only they all should be pretty close on rates because it's all pretty close, but it's really the service that you get and if you jive with the person you're talking to. If you guys hit it
Well,
off, then, you know,
and that's a wanted to tell you, as far as lenders and banks, a lot of times they're much higher than us. We're able to
oh,
save people a lot more money as a broker, usually, not
got it.
always.
All right. Well, that's good to know and good to hear. And we're out of time. So our thanks to Randy Rocky with Swan Financial. As he mentioned, and he shops the loan, gets you the best rate. You can reach Randy anytime over at Swan at 645-0736. Also, our thanks to Chuck Crosby, who is a wealth of knowledge on a variety of things, including real estate closings. Does a great job, and including wills as well. And you can reach Chuck anytime to get information about closing and scheduling your closing. You can reach Chuck at 499-6360. And if you're thinking of selling your home or buying, I'd love to help you. Plus, my team is here to help you as well. You can reach me because when you want to sell, it's me. I come out. It's a free, no obligation analysis. We talk as long as you want and discuss what the path should be and the process is to get your home sold on your terms and for the amount of money that you want. You can reach me anytime. No home too big, no home too small. 502-376-5483. That translates into 376 live. You can also go to bobsellslouisville.com, all one word, and then fill out the form, click submit. And then for that free home analysis of what your home is worth, you can go to wesellouisville.com and click on the top of the page. A reminder, next week, you won't believe which appliances you must unplug before you go on vacation. That's true. We'll tell you about that. We're out of time. See you next Sunday on News Radio 840 WHAS.